Yeah, here.
Yes.
Now we are live. Hello, everyone.
Bonjour.
So this is Marie and
Marie. So it's easy for you.
so you
Same
have
name.
two Marie today in Le Marais. And so let me just take a little moment just to tell you where we are. So we are in Place des Vosges. I don't know if you can see that just behind us. It's one of the most beautiful monuments in Le Marais. And today it's full of people because it's sunny and people are coming outside. The parks are now open, so
And
we're gonna.
it's Saturday night also.
It's Saturday night, so we're gonna have fun tonight. We're really gonna enjoy this beautiful neighborhood. I'm actually living in this neighborhood, and Marie loves it as well.
My grandma was born in Le Marais. I really like this name.
So I'm with a real Parisian here. I mean, Marie, she was born here in Paris. Very few guys can tell you these stories. So she's the true stuff here. And so she's going to guide us through the Marais. I'm going to be with her and we're going to talk about a lot of things. This place first, but then after that, we're going to stroll into the little street of Le Marais. And we're going to talk about World War II because today it's a special day. It's June 6th. And as you know, it is the D-Day. If you want to know some specific stuff about World War II and Parisian during the war in Paris, so you can just put that on comments. Please let us a lot of comments on these videos so we can interact with you guys tonight. Also, if you want to tip your guides, it's just the link below this video, and of course, just share it around you. And so, yeah, we will be all over. So tonight, let's start with this Place des Vosges. So the name is complicated.
This square actually had several different names.
Okay.
This is in fact the first royal square of Paris. So for a long time it was called Place Royale, the royal square, very simple. Changed the name during the revolution a few times, like a lot of squares. Okay. And now it's named Place des Vosges. Vosges, I don't know if you've traveled in France. It's a beautiful department. And it was named like that because of Napoleon Bonaparte, always him. And because the Vosges region was actually the first region that paid the tax, the revolutionary tax.
So it's always about money. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that this was called a Place Royale, right?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So tell us just a little bit about the time when they built this place. So who is the king at the time? What's going on around here?
So it's a beautiful square, and it was a demand of the King Henry IV. Okay. And it started to be built in the early 1600s, 1607. But sadly, before it was done, the king died. He was assassinated, not too far from here.
That's very sad.
Yes, like a lot of tragic death about the kings. There's another one that almost happened here, by the way. And so the inauguration happened 2 years after his death in 1612, during the wedding of his son, in fact.
Okay.
So that's why
let's have a look around. Okay, so just I don't know.
You have to turn it.
You do it. Yes.
Voila.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so guys, you can see people on the grass. This is very unusual in Paris, isn't it? I mean, normally the parks, you're not supposed to go on the grass. You do it. Okay. So, for example, if you go to Champ de Mars by the Eiffel Tower, you can go on the grass. But if you go, for example, in the Tuileries garden,
but that's different. This is not a Mairie de Paris garden. Tuileries belongs to the Louvre.
So that's the difference. Okay, so
the public gardens like this one, they belong to the city hall, and actually you can't always go on the grass. You have the winter rest.
Okay.
So from I think it's November or October till April, you're not allowed to be on the grass. But after springtime and summertime, everybody goes there, and this is always full of people because you have the families around, you have friends, as you can see. You also have a lot of high schools around, and there's a lot of students usually that come here to study, or not study actually.
Yes.
And since a few years, you can actually come here during summer at night also. They kept the garden open because of the terrible heat waves that we had. So it was a way for Parisians to get a bit of a fresh air and be on the grass. It's nice.
tell me, so I see a building, those buildings are completely different from Osmanian building, from Latin Quarter or things like that. So they are made of bricks, so it's very unusual.
Bricks, exactly. It's very unusual for Paris. You know why? Probably if you follow the Catacombs tour.
Ah,
I hope you did.
yeah, 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 the catacombs. So we did that on last week with Charlotte, and yeah, it's very interesting. You can see it on replay on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely. So you probably, if you saw it, you probably learned about the quarries of Paris and the special Parisian stone, which is sort of limestone, and that's a very common way to build in the city. But here, it's actually a request from the king himself. There was a royal edict. He wanted all the buildings to look alike, except two that are slightly higher, as you can see. There are two bigger buildings here. One is for the queen and one is for the king, of course.
Okay, so those buildings, so this one was built for the king, Henry IV, right?
And the queen.
And the queen.
There's the north and the south.
And the queen will be on the other side. Okay,
and actually it's brick, but if you, I don't know if you can zoom over there, you see the colors are dripping over there.
So yeah, so you have a lot of peak. I don't know if you can hear us well with the wind. We're gonna try to be out of the wind tonight, but yeah, it's a little bit windy. So yeah, so Marais is pointing a building that is slightly more pink than the other one. So what do you want us to see there?
Yeah, I just wanted to be paying close attention. Actually,
yes,
all the buildings are slightly different. They have different windows,
yeah, right. Yeah.
They have different colors. And I really like it because some of them are actually fake brick buildings.
Oh, they are fake brick. Okay, so they just painted like
exactly.
Okay, so they're not really bricks, but they look like bricks from here. I see. Okay, yeah, and the color you can't really see it from here, but actually, yeah, the color is fading.
It's just a real actual one brick, and then
so yeah, over there it's a real brick, and on this side is not. But yeah, it's very similar. I also know that on the corner here, so yeah, so sorry for the sound. I saw the comments. Yeah, it's just the wind is pretty strong tonight, but we're gonna go slightly closer to the mic. Okay, so the house you see in this corner over there is a it's very important house. We can't go now because I think it's closed because of the lockdown and the virus. But when it's gonna be open, so can you tell us more about it, Maria? Just gonna do this.
So yeah, this was, I told you, the royal square. So there was a king and a queen here, but there's been a lot of important people living here, and probably the most important one lived over there in the corner, and you might know him. He's a famous poet and writer. He's literally a national hero. And if you've been to Paris before, if you visited the Pantheon of Paris, you might have seen his tomb.
Okay.
And a little clue, he wrote a lot of novels that have been adapted into musicals or Disney movies.
Oh, okay. So, so let's see if people in the comments can find who is this very famous, very known writer that we're talking about that lived in Place des Vosges. Okay, if I'm telling you that it's about Quasimodo and Esmeralda, is that giving you another clue? So I let you find out who is this famous guy, and we're going to talk more about him. But let's see what is in the center of Place des Vosges, and then we're going to continue our tour in the Marais. So I see here a statue, and so we talk about Henry IV, but is it Henry IV on this statue?
No, it's not.
It's not, right? Okay.
You'll see its name right now.
Okay, so just gonna go back to the statue.
They got it.
They got it. Okay, so 5 points for
Maureen and Mark.
Maureen and Mark. Okay, bravo, you got it. It is Victor Hugo. Okay, so we're gonna talk more about Victor Hugo, maybe a little bit more, but now we are looking at the statue of Louis XIII. Can you see him very well? Okay, Mary, tell us more about Louis XIII that we can see here in this statue. It's a stone statue, so
it's a marble statue, actually. Yes, it's a stone one. It's not the original one, though. That's the thing.
Okay.
So I told you that Henry IV, poor guy, he was assassinated before he got to see the square done. So his son actually took over, Louis XIII, and they asked to have a royal statue here. Not just because it's a royal square, but also you need to know that around here there used to be duels all the time.
What?
Yeah, duels, like fights between two gentlemen for
Okay.
their honor, or
Like
whatever.
on horses with the spike and stuff.
No,
not
that's
that type.
another thing. Like real duels, which were actually forbidden,
Okay.
and to discourage, I guess, the duelists, they placed a statue right here. But the original one was a marble one. A bronze one, in fact.
Okay.
And the original one was destroyed, was melted during the revolution, of course.
Ah.
So what you see here is a new statue. I really like this one because it's actually pretty bad.
Maybe we can go on this side of it to see it more.
It's
Okay.
quite interesting.
Okay. Here we go. So we can see him pointing his hand, and you can see he's just pointing at something. If you're coming in Place des Vosges one day, follow his hand, because that will lead you to that side where you have the building of the king, but also in this corner on the right where you can go to Hôtel de Sully, that is not open today, but it's one of our favorite places with Marais. We love this place. It's a private mansion that was built in the 17th century, and the gardens are magnificent, and no one never really go there. It's only guides like us and people that are in the Marais all the time, and they know better.
And get lost, and I see the little passage, and it's sinking. It's really nice.
It's so beautiful. Like if you want a photo shoot also there, it's the best place. So now we're going to continue leaving the Place des Vosges and heading more into the tiny street. So it's Saturday night. It's busy in Paris. So if you
It's nice though after the lockdown.
it feels like everything is getting back to normal. So we're gonna see a lot of terraces, because also that's the thing that happened this week, just 3 days ago. I think that's or the 2nd of June, right? So that's when they decided to reopen the cafes, the bars, the restaurants, but only outside, not inside. Okay, so what do we have here?
Mark says that Sully is where they renewed their
Yeah,
wedding vows.
Mark, of course we remember you. Yeah, they did a beautiful photo shoot. I mean, we're still enjoying those pictures right now. They are the most beautiful pictures of a couple in Hôtel de Sully. So, hello, Mark. It's glad to have you on our little tour tonight. So we're gonna continue. Just gonna film a little bit of the streets. Maybe some of you guys have been here before, so you will recognize these streets that is from Place des Vosges to the Jewish quarter. It's called Francs-Bourgeois, la rue des Francs-Bourgeois, and it's full of tiny addresses, little boutique, especially specialized in cosmetics and cream and perfumes, everything to be glamorous and Parisian. So Marie, I know you know a little bit of shopping places and things like that in Marais. Are you coming here yourself to?
I am sometimes. Because the Marais is a great mix. You can find like bigger mainstream shops and also a lot of little boutiques. Which, by the way, in French means shop. So if you ask a French person where are the boutiques, they're probably going to tell you everywhere, so don't be surprised. But you have like the regular shops and the little boutiques, and you can buy literally everything here, from perfume, like I said, to jewelry, glasses.
Yeah, so if you have one or two addresses on the way that you want to share, myself, I'm coming here often to show the diptyque, the candle shop that is beautiful. I will show.
One of my favorites.
It's one of your favorite too. Okay, so we're gonna show that to.
You can't smell it, but it smells of perfume. The entire street smells of perfume, which is quite nice.
Yeah, so like you can see now, the boutiques are reopening. Not all of them, but like probably 50% of them are open now. So this is the shop that we like with Marie. It's a candle shop. It's very, very basic candles, but they are smelling delicious. I think the brand is now known in US as well. Huh? But okay, so that was our favorite, but now we're gonna continue and seeing other things. So Le Marais is known for Place des Vosges that we just saw, the Jewish quarter, A little bit further, there's also the gay neighborhood of Paris, but I don't know if we're going to have time today to show all of that. You say it's very mixed. But Franc-Bourgeois, I think, if I remember well, that's with taxes also, there is something linked with taxes. Exactly. The fact that they are like not paying their taxes or something like that. Is that what it means?
The nobles.
Yeah.
Are paying their taxes.
Okay, so the bourgeois are paying the taxes and the nobles are not paying the taxes. Okay.
Until the revolution.
Until the revolution. Okay. So yeah, so this neighborhood is interesting because it's such a mix and layers of history. For example, that's a good example. Actually, you can see on the other side of the street, this used to be a boulangerie, pâtisserie. You see, it's written on it, but it's not anymore a bakery or a pastry shop. It's now just a designer clothes shop that is here. But because it was so pretty, they decided to let the outside exactly the sign exactly as it was. I can also
see the old name of the streets right there, directly engraved on the building.
Yeah, over there in the corner. But we're gonna go there so I can show you that. But before we're gonna cross the street, can you see at the end of it? Sorry for the noise. Can you see?
Landmark, a beautiful church.
Yeah.
Saint-Paul, Saint-Louis.
So it's a beautiful church. Again, they are not open now, so we cannot go inside today. But if you're coming in Paris, we will show you the inside of Saint-Paul Church. Is beautiful. Okay, so Marie was pointing out the sign engraved in the stone. I will just show you one of them over there. Here, approaching. So this is the street where we are, Rue des Francs-Bourgeois, written in the old sign. It's really beautiful. It's on the wall of a massive house that is also a museum. So here we go. So Marie, have you ever been into this museum?
Yes.
Carnavalet? Yes.
Musée Carnavalet, absolutely. So if you have the chance to come to Paris, you should go to this one. They have been under renovation though for
many years. Yeah,
4 years now. They should reopen soon. But this is a beautiful place, and it's a museum about the history of Paris. So if you want to know more about Paris, this is definitely where you should go.
So what do you find exactly like in Musée Carnavalet? Because it's I mean, the history of Paris is so large. Yeah. So what are two things that you really like in Musée Carnavalet?
I'm a big fan of maps. I really like maps actually, and I have old maps of the city.
Yes.
There's another place, maybe you should pass in front of the window where you can see old maps of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a lot of former edicts, texts, and it's really teaching you how Paris grew, how Paris expanded. And I think if you want to know more about the history of the city, this is definitely where you should.
Okay, very good. So we are waiting for this museum to reopen. We are waiting since 4 years already. So we hope that it's going to be maybe in a few months. We will see. So now we're going to get to another little street in this neighborhood. Just turning the camera so you can see where we are. So there is this very special thing in the corner, this kind of little tower. So this is the kind of building you can find in Le Marais. So randomly like that in the streets, you see one of the nicest buildings popping up. And this one, it's a library. So
historical library of Paris.
So it's written on it. You see on the door, the doors are massive. Do you know why? I mean, I'm sure now you're Parisian fans, so you know why the doors are so big. Yeah, so please tell us also in the comment if you know why they are so massive. So you can see here, Bibliothèque historique de la ville de Paris. So yeah, so this is the National Library of Paris. So again, the doors are closed, but very, very soon we hope that's going to be reopened. And we're going to continue that way. And now we're approaching what we call the Jewish quarter, the Jewish neighborhood. So it's not very big. People sometimes they think that Le Marais entirely is known as Jewish quarter. It's not exactly that. We have a Jewish quarter inside Le Marais. Le Marais is pretty wide, but this is like 5-6 streets that will be known as the Jewish quarter. So now we're approaching this neighborhood, and we're going to talk more about World War II. Again, if you have specific questions, please ask us in the chat. And so one thing that I'm thinking of is we're going to talk more about the D-Day and all of that, but before the years 40, we had already a war, attacked a lot of. Now we are in the years 40, and it's just the next generation that is now seeing everything going on in Europe and getting scared that the same thing is happening. So the spirit is in Paris is they are already very afraid. I mean, they already know what the war is. So most of the people, they went just outside of Paris. They just left whenever they had the news that the war was, you know, getting ugly, let's say, for them. So in June 40, we have 2/3 of the Parisians that are gone. So that's mean millions of Parisians, 2 million of Parisians that are gone. Paris is, you know, still having people. And in this neighborhood, most of the people living here, they were not French, or they were not from the first generation of French people, mostly people from different countries in Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia. They were coming from all over. And that's also can explain why during the war, they had to stay here in Paris, not being able to go to see other members of families somewhere else. So let's say that the first, the only third that stayed in Paris, they stayed mostly in neighborhood like this one. So now we're going to talk more about the history of here. So we are Rue des Rosiers. We're going to go maybe in this little park to start with. Yeah. What do you think? Okay. So this park is from Rue des Rosiers, the Rose Tree Street, that is known as also one of the known Jewish streets, the Jew streets. And maybe we can, talk a little bit about the life here, you know, what happened, and because it's very quiet. It's a park that is hidden. It's something that opened a few years ago, and they are growing. They're growing food, and you have a garden. So it's really cute. It's really nice.
We have old mansions.
Yeah, it's really neat. So maybe Marie, you can tell more. So what is going on? So in June 40, so most of the Parisians are gone. We know that the troops of Hitler are coming here, and so what's going on after? So
for a while, it's a giant mess. The exodus is a giant mess. People perish while leaving. And as you said, a few people had to stay. There was no other way for them. So to prevent more casualties, the French army decided to declare Paris a ville ouverte, open city, so German could come without hurting more people.
Okay, so no fighting inside the city. When they arrived, it was open for them. Okay.
They were, though, trying to sabotage them. For instance, there was no fuel, because they actually exploded the gas tanks around the city. So weirdly, the first Germans arrived on bikes.
Okay.
They arrived on bikes in the city, and they found a complete dead city, pretty much, because everyone was hiding. No one was outside, and they arrived pretty early in the morning also. And they were kind of almost disappointed.
Okay, they were expecting Parisians to be cheering them up or something like that, or... Maybe not.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. But they were at first, weirdly, I've watched some documentaries about that, and people of that time, they say that weirdly, they were rather nice. I don't know if I can say that, but
so they were nice to the population.
The thing is that people were so scared of the German, mainly because of the First World War, that they saw them as monsters. And when they arrived, they were actually surprised to see normal people. And at first, the cohabitation was not so bad, but only at first. Mm-hmm. It got worse, and probably, especially in this neighborhood, since it's the historical Jewish neighborhood of Paris. And this is when people really started to get scared. That point that the city was actually called La Ville Sans Visage, which means faceless city, because people would avoid eye contact with the German soldiers. Wherever they were walking, they would avoid it.
Yeah.
You need some help with that?
Yeah. So I'm opening my bag right now because I want you guys to see some of the picture. We brought some pictures of the time to present what was Paris at the time. So maybe for the bicycle we can. So Sarah, you're gonna see just this. Yeah, just this one. Here we go. So I'm gonna show you some of the images we have here. So here we go. So when they arrived, the German, the very first thing they did was putting flags all around. Arc de
Exactly. They took
Triomphe.
over all the important monuments, Arc de Triomphe. You see, maybe if you've come to Paris, you can recognize the Louvre over there.
Yes.
And this is Rue de Rivoli. So
And
it shows that they had everything in plan, actually. They had a plan in motion, and they knew exactly where to go and settle in the best places. They took over the palaces, for instance, Le Ritz.
Yeah, so the hotels, yeah, where the
hotels
and so yeah, we see also the signs. They were in German.
They were in German.
They changed the hour also. The hour was for the Berlin hour. Maybe we can also look at the map. We have here a map of the occupied zone and the free zone. So this was during the time of the war. That was at the hour of Berlin, and this was at the hour of France. So that's mean 2 hours of difference. That's just a little anecdote, but it's just to show how important the right away the impact of the German was. And so Paris being here, so in the occupied zone, and this was the limits. Of course, everyone wanted to go in the free zone, I assume. And so here you have the Loire Valley, and that was kind of the frontier between those two.
Between the occupied zone and the free zone.
So yeah, maybe we can just continue a little bit. So
Yes.
so during the war, so you say the population here, so they were mostly immigrants. They were a lot of them were Jews also, and so what happened for them when the Germans arrived? Well, maybe not right away, but after 1 or 2 years. I mean, the laws, they were specific for them.
Yes,
no, they had to change their habits. They had curfews. They had to wear the star. But maybe we can also show that. So yeah, so a lot of stigmatization of the population also.
They also made what we call le statut des Juifs, which is the there you see it.
Yeah. So
Which is a law that was actually combined with le Maréchal Pétain.
Okay.
So this law was to make pretty much a repertoire of all the Jews in France. But originally it was supposed to be made for non-French Jews, and Pétain decided to add, of course, the French Jews as well. And this status of the Jews actually is really important because later on, when they started the first deportation, they used that repertoire of the names and the addresses of all those people. And this is how they never managed to escape pretty much.
Okay, so now we are talking about this event that happened in July 42, which is the very first time where we are taking Jews of their home and we're gonna deport them in and so we have a word for that, right? We call that la rafle. So maybe you can tell more about it, and I'm just Here we go.
Actually, the first train from France departed on the 27th of March, so a bit earlier of that year. And later on, there's this tragic event, like you call it, La Rafle, the roundup of Rue Vieille-du-Temple, which happened in July 1942. And this remained one of the most tragic ones, especially because at that time there's been from that roundup very few survivors. Just about 200 amongst the 13,000 Jews that have been taken.
So you say 13,000 Jews were taken on one day? During one day, and that was so in July 42. And so only 200 survived of this. And so in this park, there is something that is reminding us of this period of time. So we're gonna have a look at this panel here. I don't know if it's very clear. Yes.
Okay, so maybe I'm gonna just read you. So it's arrêté par la police. So I'm just gonna translate that in English directly. So it's so they were arrested by the police of the government of Vichy. So we're talking about the Vichy government with Pétain on his head. So with the complicity of the Nazi occupying here, more than 11,400 kids were deported of France from 42 to 44, and they were murdered in Auschwitz because they were born Jew, and more than 500 of those kids were living in the 4th district where we are. Among them, 100 of very tiny ones didn't even have the chance to go to a school, and reading, so reading their name, passing here, our memory is really their unique, their only grave, the only grave they have. So I don't know if you can see well, but a lot of names are written there, and so it's a list of the very babies and the little kids that were deported during this time. Of course, this neighborhood is affected a lot by this by its memory. We're going to see a lot of signs that are. Oh, you have your grandma is.
She was born in Le Marais. I told you she lived not far in Rue Barbette, and she remembers what happened because she was 8 when the roundup happened, and her best friend was Jewish.
Oh.
And now she's 87, so she's losing her mind a bit. So she only remembers things from her childhood, and she had her best friend Lily. And she remembers quite well because it happened in July. So they were not in school, and they used to play out in the gardens, out on the streets. And they had this special meeting point, and she would meet Lily there all the time. And she remembers that one day Lily didn't show up, and she came back the next few days, and Lily never came back, actually. And she learned, I don't know if you imagine, about 10 years later what happened to her.
Okay, so Lily was part of.
She was part of the WWII.
Oh my God! Okay.
That's the most dramatic thing about le WWII. It's that mainly children and women were deported for a very simple reason. Men by then knew what was happening, so they were trying to find a safe passage or a safe place to stay for their families. And what was left here were pretty much the mothers and their children. So that's the people who have been taken during the WWII.
So mostly women and kids. So yeah, so in this neighborhood you have so a lot of reference to that event, of course, but you also have some hero resisting during this very dark period. So we're going to talk about them a little bit after. Here, just passing, you can see maybe the wood beams just above us, our head. We are in a very, very old part of town. Exactly. It's so Le Marais is. We didn't talk about that, but it's also where we're going to see one of the oldest houses of Paris. Maybe after this neighborhood, we're going to show you the 2 oldest houses. I'm doing this because there is a lot of oldest houses. You can understand why. But let's say that. One part of this street I'm going to show you, it's from the Middle Ages. So that's very impressive to come here to have the story of World War II, but at the same time to have this impression of just going back into the 16th or 17th century. I really love this street. Today is Saturday, which means it's Shabbat, so that's the holy day for the Jews. So maybe some of the places won't be open. That's how it's working in Le Marais. That means on Sunday you're going to have more things open because, of course, to compensate of the Saturday being closed for most of them. But the falafel are working well. You can see. Wants to be eating outside with the terrace. The terrace, we miss them so much. Yeah, the terraces are really a blessing now. I'm just going to show you one sign because it's important to talk about the resistance. It's also very important to talk about women during the war because we are always thinking about guys when we're thinking resistance. Here we have this woman, Yvette Feuillet. She was so murdered in Auschwitz by the age of 22. She was a resistance. She so like a lot of people of her age, she was already working and she was part of a syndicat, so a union in her factory. And so she was resisting from a very early age. And when they took her and some of her colleagues into the first camp, which was Birkenau, which was the camp for women, apparently she, yeah, you can hear me. Apparently, she arrived singing La Marseillaise. So that's the national, the French national hymn. So it's a very powerful moment, of course. So that's yeah, that's the way they were in the resistance. So Yvette Feuillet, among a lot of other people. You have another sign here, up here. So another resistant Louis Shapiro. So if you're coming in Rue des Rosiers, you're going to see a lot of signs like that. So I'm just wondering if my battery will get us until the end. Normally it should. Okay. So let's see another side. Yeah, over there. So you can see how narrow the street is. In the middle, you have also this where the water is running. So you can really have the atmosphere of the Middle Ages here, which I love. And the buildings are made of stone and wood. It's nothing to do compared to the Champs-Élysées, for example. Here we are really into the old Paris, and it feels like a village. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Maybe we can go to just up the school to talk more, a little bit more about the World War II history, and especially a hero that was a teacher in a school over there. The school is still there, so I'm going to show you where it is, and we can talk a little bit about this teacher that was a hero, Joseph Mignoret.
That's the name of the garden we just went in.
Yeah, the garden we were in with Marais was named after him. So now we're approaching the school. So this is the school I'm talking about, and it used to be a market with steak. It's a steak house, and but for a long time, yeah, it was a school. So here you have a sign over there. Yeah, I don't really zoom, but it's a little bit blurry. But it's just saying that Joseph Mignoret was a director and a teacher in this school from 20 to 44, and he really risked his life to save dozens of Jewish kids during the war. He saved them from the deportation, and yeah, and so maybe I could do that for me. So. Yeah, for hiding, because we talk about a lot about Anne Frank and things like that. So in Paris, do you know if the people were hiding as well? They had also.
We actually passed in front of a cafe that belongs to a very important charity. It's called Ose, Œuvre de Secours aux Enfants. And originally it was created in Russia, in St. Petersburg. And it was a charity that was there to take care of Jewish children. It was like a health and social charity. And obviously, because of the pogroms back then, they had to move to Berlin. So they moved in the 20s there. And for obvious reasons, they soon had to leave Berlin. And they arrived here in Paris in 1933. And they have been here since then, and they were very active during the war because they managed to save more than 5,000 children. They would organize their escape to the US through Lisbon, and later, after the roundup, the WWII and the other roundups, they actually managed to make about 5,000 kids escape.
Wow.
And amongst them, someone very important, in fact, you might know him, Elie Wiesel, the Peace Nobel Prize, actually.
Wow. Okay, so 5,000 kids were saved from this association, and so it's it's a very interesting part of our history to see how the people were trying to save other people. We're going to talk more about them. There is a whole wall that is dedicated to those heroes that saved kids. But this teacher that also made for those kids. The end of Rue des Rosiers. Apparently, there is kind of a show, so so we can enjoy that. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so maybe we're gonna go back here on us. So a lot of people making fake papers for churches. Yeah, fake baptism. Yeah, so we're gonna talk more about those heroes. Now we're getting to a part of so it's still technically the Jewish quarter, but it feels more
merging with the gay neighborhood now because Sainte-Croix-la-Poterie is a beginning. It's a center part of the gay neighborhood in Paris.
Yeah, so that's what is interesting in Le Marais. So it's not really like very well divided. It's like one street to another. You're passing from one atmosphere to another. So that's what I like. It's very lively. It's very it's always refreshing in a way. And we're gonna pass in front of one cafe I like in particular. It's called Les Philosophes, and if you know me, you probably heard me saying it before because Les Philosophes is a cafe where you don't need any reservation, and the food is homemade, all of it, and it's mostly organic, coming from farms, so it's a farm-to-table kind of bistro.
French, it's really good.
Very good, not very expensive. I mean, if I can go there, you can also. And yeah, you can see it's very friendly, casual.
They're too busy. A little trick.
Yeah, we can go there.
They actually have the same kitchen. They have the same chef and the same owner, and they also have amazing products there.
Okay, so here, La Chaise au Plafond, and
you see they opened just one of those.
Yeah, you can see those two cafes that are really, really good. Okay, so what is going on for Parisian during World War II? Because I mean, the food is really rare. I mean, it's hard to find food in Paris. So
everything is really rare because 20% of the global production of France goes straight to Germany. So they started to establish ration tickets.
Okay.
And at the beginning, of course, in the 40s, those ration tickets were still kind of okay, I may say. The amount of food delivered was okay. But slowly, surely, it dropped drastically, and it got even worse with the Jews because at some point they were only allowed to queue to get their food from 3 to 4 p.m., which means after everything is gone in the shop.
Okay, so maybe can you hold that for me,
yes,
please? Okay, just gonna put us now here. Okay, so yeah, you can just hold that. Thank you. Okay, so we're talking about ration tickets. I think some of you they know what it is, but I'm just gonna have a little example here. Okay, so that the system is very simple. So you have a card like that where you see I don't know if you can see it well, but so you have little stamps. So it's stamps that you can exchange against food, but you will have to pay. So the stamps is only to guarantee just an amount of food, but it's not gonna be paying for it. So first you have to pay, and you have a good stamp. And the line we're talking about, I think on this image you can see also well. So you were doing pretty much like 2 hours of queue to just get a lot of bread, just 2 eggs. Also, it was very limited. It was just a very, very small amount of sugar per person. If you were a mother, you could have a little milk. If you were having, 1 or 2 kids, you had a bit more. But it was not a lot of food. And like Marie was saying, most of the food was going in Germany, was exported. It was very rare to have food here, unless you were very rich and you were also using the black market. French people, I mean. So unless you were passing through the black market, and that's where you were having coffee or things that were very, very precious. But you had also another way. It was to be a farmer yourself and to grow food inside your garden if you had the chance. Also the pink market, exactly. So some people, and that was funny, you could see some people were growing potatoes, leeks, whatever they had in Paris, in the Tuileries garden, wherever you had a little bit of dirt, they were trying to grow
food inside
We would
Paris.
fish in the Seine River.
We
also,
fish in the Seine
which
River.
I do not recommend today. Do not eat the fish in the
Yeah,
Seine River.
I don't think there is any fish left. But anyway, so I'm taking that.
That you can eat actually.
Okay, now we're passing. Yeah. So we're just gonna cross.
And this ration ticket, you don't even imagine. But for instance, with bread, it lasted until in France in some regions until 1949. So long
Until
after the war.
1949, you had stamps. Wow, that's very impressive. Okay, so now we're getting to the, let's say, one of the street that is known, Rue de Rivoli. It's very known in Le Marais because it's kind of the central line on the I don't know how to say, the vertebra of of Le Marais. We're gonna go on the other side of Rue de Rivoli. That is now only for bicycles and pedestrian, isn't it?
Yes.
Look at that. So
It
we
is-
can
it
be
is
in
very
the
cool.
middle of the street and no cars, no scooter. It's only, well, the sun is very bright, but it's almost just for bicycle and pedestrian, which is really great. And that's because of the end of the lockdown, right? It's
Exactly.
and we can see here a lot of Vélib. So that's a lot of Vélib that are available because people are using mostly their bikes. They don't really want to go back to the metro. The subway is not really the place you want to be right now. So we're using a lot of bikes, and that's great. That's great for environment. So we are enjoying it. So we are getting to Rue François. Oh, yeah, we could go to the Merveilleux. I think Marie has a great idea here. So we're just going to show you one dessert that we enjoy a lot. It's called the Merveilleux, and it's coming from north of France, from Lille, exactly. It's a meringue, the egg meringue. So let's have a look. That's pretty interesting, the way they're making them. So we're talking about
Meringue and cream, and usually chocolate. We can have all the things on it, like pralines, the little meringues, spice. You can see making them here.
yeah, normally they're making them, but yeah, today probably ending their days.
Made them.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
Merveilleux. That's really good. Actually, next week we're gonna do a live with Lola on the food tour. So we're gonna do a food tour next week. If you want to follow that, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about macaron and the croissant and the history behind those French specialty. We're gonna have probably a little bit of cheese as well. So if you want to know more about French specialty for next week, follow us on live on YouTube. Again, you can just register. And now we are in front of. Wow. Okay, those houses look like something else. So what's going on here? Can you tell us more, Marie, about those beautiful houses from, I assume, the Middle Ages? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
kind
wine
of.
store also. Okay. So tell us just about the structure. So is this like the classical Middle Age house?
It is kind of, those are actually dated from the late Middle Ages because they're actually from the 15th century.
Okay.
And those are called les maisons à colombage, which I think in English is timbered house.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a trick though here. They've been renovated
They've been renovated. So
quite a few times.
okay, but they
Maybe
are
imagine-
old, but they're just not exactly from the time we think they are from. Is that right?
Parts of it is definitely, but you can see the upper floor, for instance.
Okay,
They
so on
look
the upper
very new.
Yeah, the upper floor look a little bit newer.
Usually those homes would not pass 3 floors, which means for you guys 4 floors.
So yeah, okay, 3 floor will be a max, but here we have one more. Okay,
We have
so
actually 2 more over there,
but the roof
structure is actually pretty accurate. The
Mhm.
thing is, back then, especially in the 15th century, they wouldn't have shown the wood like this. For the very simple reason, fire.
okay,
It's not very safe to show wood out like this because it doesn't prevent you from fire. So usually those homes were covered at some point with like lime to prevent fire from spreading. So that's
okay,
why. But you can imagine how they look like.
okay. So we
Good
can
example.
see, for example, that the roof, the roof of Paris being all these
blue metallic kind of roof, and here it's all made of wood, and it's really ancient houses. That's pretty cool to see that in Paris. It's a nice. Oops, sorry. Here we go. So yeah, so it's a nice view on the old Paris. But now we're going back to Paris from this century. Oh, can you? Yeah. Sorry, I have a little technical problem coming back. I think it's all good. Yes, I'm gonna take that from you. Perfect. Sorry, guys. Are you good? No. No. Okay. No.
Yeah. Asking when I go back.
There is the problem here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're back on. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Yeah. Yeah. It's sorry. Oh, okay. So just passing in front of Merveilleux. Should we have a Merveilleux or should we continue?
Do you want one?
I don't know.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Oh, I have to show that though. I have to show you. Oh, they look amazing. Okay, guys, whenever you're coming in Paris, just come here. Just go here and try those merveilleux. If you already had one in your life, please put that on the comments. Tell us if you love the merveilleux. So reminder, this meringue with cream and surrounded by chocolate or whatever little stuff that are, cracking. So good. Okay, so now we are continuing, and there is a special place for World War II to think about it, to remember what happened, and also the good people, the hero of the resistance. And that place is called Mémorial de la Shoah. We have two memorials that are talking about World War II, Mémorial de la Shoah and Mémorial de la Déportation. That is at the edge of the end of Island of la Cité, so the city island. But today we're going to focus on Mémorial de la Shoah. We're not going to go in, but you can see the outside. Yeah, the outside from here. So, oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So what do we have here? So we have le Mur des Justes. Le Mur des Justes, and up there, sorry, the camera is not. Here we go. Okay, it's not that easy to find the good angle, but we have an idea. Okay, so what do we have here? What is le Mur des Justes exactly? I see a lot of names. Maybe we can.
It's filled with names. Inside you have the names of the victims, and outside you have the names of the righteous. So you can see over there, it goes all the way up here.
So, okay, let me just focus on this here. Okay, so we have names. Those names are the people we actually helped during.
The Jews to escape or to hide during the war. They are called righteous because they did the right thing. And this is something that started quickly after the war, actually, because of Mr. Kartfeld and his wife Beata. Both Jews, they both found out that some of their friends, some of their families have been saved by strangers, random people. So at the end of the war, they first started to chase the runaway criminals, Nazi criminals, and to look for those people. And weirdly, it was not so easy because the real resistance and the real righteous, they usually didn't come forward. They didn't want to talk about what happened.
Oh, really? They didn't want to say their names and.
Not the last minute resistance.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay. We see. So when they were resistant from the at the end, let's say they didn't want it to be.
They wanted reward. They wanted honored, but the actual ones, they were pretty hard to find. So you see the names here. You have the dates. And it's the date they found out about those people.
Ah, okay. Because yeah, we saw 2000 something. So that's the date where they found
that they were
real hero, the righteous
and
people.
see, amongst those names, you will see a lot of doctor, or for instance, you will see Abbé, Père, which is father, pastor.
Okay, so those were from different religion, huh? That we were talking about.
Yes, and you had, like you said earlier, a lot of religious people or a lot of doctors because it was easy for them to make fake
Certificates, okay.
like medical ones to prevent little boys to go to medical visits. And all of their names are written here along with the place.
Okay.
And throughout the year, they found more and more. You showed the last part. You noticed that in the 2000s, they still managed to find some people. It's getting harder because most of them are dead by now, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And you need proof, you need witnesses. They actually have to investigate to find out if you're righteous or not. And if you're to be righteous, it must be three simple things. Look simple. First one is not being Jew, not Jewish people. Second, having helped without money involved.
Ah, okay. So it's not your money that can be part of the. Okay.
If you were paid for it, you're not considered righteous.
Mm-hmm. Like for example, like if you're doing, like for example, like if someone is paying you to pass the Alps or something like that, then you're not. Yeah, because it's not true help. It's just money. Yeah.
And the third reason, the first thing is that you did what you did, knowing that you were risking your life. Actually.
Okay, so all those people knew they were risking the life, and so they were very brave. There is this lady. We talked about her before the tour started, so I just I just want you to see it. So Suzanne Spack. We're gonna show a picture and actually a painting that was made by Magritte from this lady. So Suzanne Spack, she is known among the resistance because she's not a French woman. She is from Belgium, and she was quite an aristocrat. So she was quite known into, let's say, the high circles. And when she arrived in France, she was really outraged for what was going on. So she wanted to help the kids. She wanted to help the people. Again, not with money, but really risking her life. So she knew a lot of doctors. She knew a lot of lawyers. So she could do a lot of things for Jewish people here in Paris, not being concerned at any level. So it was really for her a matter of justice. So she made, she saved hundreds of kids from being deported. And unfortunately, she was caught and she was in a camp, hold prisoner. And she died only 2 weeks before the D-Day, today. So because what happened is, so most of the prisoners at the end of the war, or when the war was ending for in the mind of the Germans, then they decided just to kill them, just to fire and on them in the prison. So a lot of them died just before the liberation, which is quite frustrating to know all those great people just die like that. So now we're going to be more discreet, and I'm going to talk maybe more quiet, because we are arriving in a very, very important part of the memorial. Maybe I can show you a little bit here what is going on. We're not supposed to film here inside because it's very I don't know if I don't think you can see from here. Okay, behind those walls you have a list of names of people that were in fact deported and died. This is when I say it's very, very holy, it's because that's the only place where you see those names. You have no graves. So that's why this memorial is so important, is because it's also the only place where you can talk about all the people that are concerned. So
they have a very important ceremony. They have the ceremony of the names.
Yeah. So what is the ceremony of the names?
It's when they read out loud all the names of all the victims, and it lasts like almost 24 hours. And members of the family can come to read part of the list, or the list of their family members who died. And it's a way to keep their spirit, their memories alive.
Okay, so this ceremony is happening at the date, like every anniversary, right?
It's usually the anniversary of the big departures of the trains, the roundups, all the tragic events.
Okay. So this ceremony is happening here, you see, in the Mémorial of La Shoah. So we talk about the names outside. We talk a little bit about the names inside. Of course, if you want to know more about what happened and the history of Paris and of World War II in general in France, come in Paris whenever you can, and we're going to talk about that. We can have a special tour only for this subject for the people that might be interested. Just gonna try to stabilize this. Sorry. Okay, yeah, what's going on is just, let me explain, is just my battery is low, so I need to charge it while I'm walking, so it's a lot of things to manage, but we're gonna do it, we're gonna handle it. Okay, so now, where are we going? Are we going there in the Rue des Barres? Because I really like this street. Maybe we can show you another part of Le Marais that is really neat, with those houses that are quite old as well. Okay, oops. Okay, maybe I'm just gonna hold that. Okay, so here we have the same type of houses that we saw in François Miron. And we are arriving in Rue des Barres. And we can hear the sound of a church. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we have here behind. Here's the church. Okay, so we could go inside as well, but maybe there is a mass now. What do you think? Okay, if you really want us to, if you really want us to go in the church, please tell us. We can do it. It's alive, so we're gonna do whatever you're feeling is better. But now, just gonna show you the street. Yeah, that's really, really nice here. Okay, so now we are in the Rue des Barres with a beautiful terrace, and we're gonna see the church there. So Maria, do you know this church? Do you like it?
I really like it. It's been under renovations for like years and years also, but I really like this one, especially because it was made in the late 15th century, so it looks a bit Gothic, but if you have a look if you come to Paris, have a look at the other side of the church, it looks really Renaissance. It's like a perfect mix of the end of the Gothic era and the beginning of the Renaissance, and it's quite damaged. It's not the first time it's damaged. Actually, it got damaged also during the war.
Okay.
Germans fired here cannon during the mass, and they killed about 100 people, and they damaged the church a lot. Also.
Oh, okay.
But it's been restored. It's a very beautiful one. So if you want us to go in,
I don't know. What do they say on the chat? Do they say we have to go?
Oui.
Okay, then let's go. Okay. And if we are kicked out of the church, it's not our fault. You told us, guys. So okay, so we're gonna go. Okay. It's getting very serious now. Yeah, okay. I think it's the wind also that is pushing the camera. Okay. Okay, there is someone. So should we go? So we have... On peut pas filmer? D'accord. Ok, bon, on va continuer alors. D'accord. Ça marche. Ok.
Merci beaucoup. Il faut des masques. Ok, ok. Sorry. Ah.
Okay, so as you may understood, we can't go in because it's mass time. Okay, I think.
Yeah. So this church, I see someone is asking.
Yes, sorry.
Saint-Gervais-Saint-Protais.
Yes, this church Saint-Gervais-Saint-Protais. So we can see the other facade from the other side, but right now we can't go in, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe next time when it's the afternoon. It's actually quite late. I mean, I'm surprised that they're making mass at this hour.
I think it's the mass time. But I went in, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, during a rehearsal. Actually, a lady, a nun, was playing, and it was beautiful.
Okay.
So if you come during the afternoon, I think you will really enjoy it. It's really quiet, and you might see them playing.
Okay.
Playing on piano or rehearsing.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna go to another part of Le Marais that is a bit more lively, and it's it's close to the gay neighborhood, so we're gonna probably be able to see a little bit of that. Is that okay with the wind? You can still hear us. I'm gonna show you one of our favorite streets, which is Sainte-Croix de la Bretonnerie, because there you have Pierre Hermé macarons. So of course we love them. I don't know if we're gonna be able to have them this time, but like I say, next week we're gonna try them with Lola. There's also Marie wants to come, of course.
I'm gonna sneak in this
room. Okay, so now we are crossing Rue de Rivoli again. That is, like we told you, all empty. It's really fun. So let's just enjoy a little bit of Le Marais atmosphere. See the terraces, see how the people are enjoying freedom, good time. Like you see, not a lot of people are wearing masks, only the nice little nun from the church.
Yeah, if you go to the church, you have to wear a mask. Of course.
Okay, can you feel that you're with us right now?
Maybe you can hear the crowd.
You can hear the crowd, you can see how it is. Maybe, yeah, we're gonna go into Rue Sainte-Croix de la Bretonnerie, and we're gonna end our tour tonight with you guys, just to show you the nice little atmosphere. As you can see, a lot of people are outside. It's Saturday.
Sure, it's so safe, but it's...
So that just to give you a little glimpse of what we call the gay neighborhood. That's one of the bars that is known for it. So whenever you see some rainbow flags, that's usually giving you a nice clue.
It's very lively.
So there is a lot of other things we would like to show you, but yeah, the Marais being very big. So I'm living myself not in this part of Le Marais, but upper, not far from the markets known as the Marché des Enfants Rouges that I love. There is also the Canal Saint-Martin that is not very far from there. So that's more my part. So I'm not in down Le Marais by Jewish Quarter and Place des Vosges. But yeah, if you want to know more about Le Marais, we're probably going to do another video about the other part of Le Marais because it's so rich. There's so many things to do. Yeah, normally we do more. We didn't do some shopping today because, yeah, we don't have time, but that's also a great place to do some shopping. I don't know, Marie, do you have one place that you like as a restaurant or any recommendation you like in Le Marais to share with us?
I have a few actually. So the little terrace that we just saw, I really like it because it's in paved streets. There's no cars passing. You're really next to the Seine River. It's pretty nice. They have very nice food also, but it's like a little brunchy thing. Other than that, there's plenty of very good restaurants in Le Marais. There's one I really like. It's called Glou. Glou.
Yeah, Glou. Yeah, of course. That's a good address. Yeah.
I really like that one. There's plenty of places. Les Philosophes, like you showed, and the little one. I usually go to the little one. It's a bit more quiet. La Chaise au Plafond.
Yeah.
But other than that, wait, there's a great ice cream shop here.
I knew you were having the best recommendation. Okay.
In
Now,
front of Pierre Hermé, actually, the macaron place, you have une glace à Paris.
okay, so we're gonna show
And
you.
they have amazing ice creams and sorbet.
I think we might have one. I don't know. Is it too?
Is it open?
Oh
it's
no,
closed.
it's closed. Okay, so Glace à Paris is not open now, but Pierre Hermé, well, it's a little bit late, but you see, so behind us, yeah, it's Pierre Hermé. So next week we're gonna have nice macaron from Pierre Hermé. So if you're excited, you can join us. So thank you everyone to follow us. Yeah, now we have the nice sun. Maybe we can be in the middle of the street. You see how it is in Le Marais. We can be in the middle of the street and not having any
Nobody
cars.
cares.
So we love that. So was just a little tour of a neighborhood that we love. But if you want to know more about Le Marais, don't hesitate to ask any question. You can also go. There is a blog post that is just for the best addresses in Le Marais. Actually, the car is coming. Should we move or?
It's
should we
supposed to turn.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's turning. Oh, it's fine. Okay, we're fine. We're still in the middle of the street here. So please ask us any question on comments. You can go on our website to know more about Le Marais. And it was fun. Thank you, Marie. It was really fun to have you and to show you around. The weather was beautiful.
You were so lucky. It was pretty bad earlier.
Sorry for the technical issue. That was not the best. Whoops. Here we go. That was not not the best video on that level, but we're gonna do better. We're gonna improve every time. We're gonna improve ourselves. So again, if you want to help us, you can just leave a comment or tip your guide, and see you maybe next week or another week.
And we hope you're going to enjoy Le Marais yourself at some point.
Yeah, come back and come in Le Marais whenever you can. So bye bye. Ciao, guys. Is there any other comments we have to read before? I'm just pushing the button.
Merci.
Merci. Okay. Bye, guys. Ciao.